Hey everyone, let me first apologize for the background noise. Of necessity this morning, I have to record this at Starbucks, so um, it is what it is. I wanted to check in with you. We only have a couple more days left of our class. Today's Wednesday. The course ends on Sunday. Um, Please remember that tonight is when the bibliography for the final project is due. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to send those to me. I'm happy to help out. Please do remember that you need to include at least one primary source. And a primary source, just shorthand definition, is a source that was created at the time of the event that you are studying. Um, that could be a digitized and transcribed and even translated version of that source, um, but it needs to be a source from the time frame just the same, if that makes sense. If you have questions about what that means, again, don't hesitate to ask. Also, do remember that you need to have at least two academic sources, and I didn't give a really strict definition on what that means. Sources that you find via the CNM library search will generally be academic sources. You also can use Google Books. Google Books, if you find books that were published by a university press, you'll know those have been peer-reviewed, and those are academic sources. You don't have to read a book in its entirety to get what the arguments are and learn something about your research question. You can use the index, you can use the preview on Google Books. You don't actually have to get the hard copy, the physical copy of the book. And again, if you use Google Books, you can just use the search box to look for some keywords that will help you to see how that source answers your research question. And again, I don't expect you to read a bunch of extra books since this is only a 2-week class, but you can look at those and use those for your project. Hopefully that's helpful. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Going into the next couple of days, I have responsibilities that I have to take care of at CNM. We have a faculty focus day where we have to, I shouldn't say have to, but we're going to do some professional development, some training, and then Friday's convocation. So I may be slower to respond to you on those days, but please still ask questions if you have them. Thinking about the final project itself, do keep in mind that what you're going to produce on Adobe Spark is an annotated bibliography. So what you're doing for the final project is annotating your sources. For each source, you need to give a brief description of what the source covers, what the content is. Then you also need to explain why you find that source credible as specifically as you can. Don't just say it's credible because the author's credible. You need to explain why the author's credible. For example, that's one way to approach credibility. So that's the second part of each annotation, and then the third part is an explanation of how the source helps you to address your research question. To tie the project together, you do need to have an introduction paragraph. Then you'll list your annotations and your sources, and you can have links to those sources in Spark. That's one of the great things about it. You can include images and videos. Be as creative as you'd like. In your introduction, you should present your topic, your research question, and your thesis statement. Your thesis statement, for our purposes, is just going to be your answer to your research question. So again, don't worry about spoiling the ending. In a project like this, just lay it all out there in the intro, and then use that thesis, that answer, to tie together all of the different annotations that you make. So that will be the kind of common thread between the annotations and the sources. And it does help to compare the sources in your annotations. That is one way of thinking about credibility. It's also a way of describing how the source answers your research question. And then please do include a conclusion paragraph to tie everything up at the end. Okay, hopefully those are helpful pointers. Again, please ask questions whenever you have them. Thanks for your hard work up to this point, and let's finish the course strong.